Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Luis here with Green Super Gardening. Today I'm going to show you the supports that I'm using at my community garden plot. It may or may not be similar to what I have at home. I think at home I do have some 1x2s that are holding up, and I do have some of the green stakes that are holding stuff up. But I think here at the plot I have more of a mix of different trellising and support methods that I think you guys should see. And none of this stuff was super expensive except for maybe the T-post. But in my case, the T-posts were hanging out in the corner of the plot, and one of the lattices was hanging out in the corner of the plot, so it's fair game. If you don't have it in your plot, it's tossed in the corner like trash. So I saw them, pulled them out. Let's see. Alright, so if you guys have been around for a minute, or even if you haven't, I really just started plugging away at, I do work the plot. I just started shooting more content because I realized a lot of people, well, I knew already, but a lot of people don't always have gardening space at home. They might have a balcony, they might have something small, but they don't always have a space to garden until they go to community garden. And so with community garden, because they haven't done it, or because, I'll go ahead and shut off this water real quick, because they haven't done it, or there might be their first time, it's not necessarily that they don't want to spend the money or can't spend the money. A lot of people probably can't or won't, or it's a new thing for them. And when you get into a new hobby, you don't want to go all in like psycho. I only did it here just because I've been gardening for so long that I knew what I was doing for the most part. And so I also want to go, and I also, regardless of how long I've been doing it, and especially because I've been doing it for so long, I've come up with different things in my head. I know what works and what doesn't. So, all that being said, we do have cages for the tomatoes. The tomatoes are indeterminate, which means they will keep growing as long as the weather allows. So as long as the weather is good, they'll keep growing. You just have to keep supporting them physically. T-posts. You can do the floor to weave. You can do many different things, but in this one, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up bringing this up. Once it gets to a certain point, then I'll just tie it to this. On this one, on this side, and then on that small side over there, I was going to put beans. The roly-polies have been horrible here this year, and so I planted them. They got eaten alive, and I said, screw it. I had all these plants because, again, I want to get planting all the seeds that I have, just so I don't have all these extra seeds that I'm not going to end up using, I'm going to end up losing. So I planted out all these cucurbits. I don't know what they are. Anyway, so I planted them all out. And so this is now, I keep saying this, I don't know what they are. I think they're jackfruit little pumpkins. And so that's what these are going to go up. These are actually just 3-gallon pots. I bought the bags of the Quikrete. These are 2x2 redwood posts. Put it in, pretty straightforward. I had one of those nylon netting things, and I think it was like 15 feet long by like 6 feet tall. So it's perfect for this. But I wanted to have a space to be able to reach back here, and so then that one broke down. That broke down after a few years. It wasn't that expensive anyway, but it broke down, and so what I ended up doing this year is I had a roll of twine, almost a full roll that I found, because again, I'm trying to go through and trying to purge and trying to get rid of stuff, and so I basically just went through and did that. And so I did have the screws that I had put in here for that original trellis netting, that nylon trellis netting, and so then that helped me sort them up. So then all the way around, we do have those cucurbits. And so we'll see how they go. I have grown them on this before, not on this twine specifically here, but I have grown using these poles. I did Armenian cucumbers, and I did beans, and I did, I think, melons at one point, small melons. The Armenian cucumbers are much better for the plot because I don't get out here very often. It's more of a Mediterranean plant, and so it doesn't require all that much water. They do need water, but they can deal without me not watering it every day or every other day or every so often. They're a little better. So they did really produce really well. We have your standard green stakes. I've grown, I literally just had peas and beans on these recently. Well, peas, beans, and then peas or whatever. I have grown tomatoes on this, just like these in these teepees. You can grow melons, you can grow pretty much anything on these. Again, just simple, cheap twine. After a season or two, they're done. These green poles, the green coating starts coming off. But overall, they do pretty well. You can see the damage on that acorn over there. We do have, actually, some of these are looking better. It's really just that one in the corner that I was cutting alive completely. This one does have some damage on it as well. As far as, oh no, so let's include protection in here. So because we're going to call it the community garden tax, you do have wildlife. You might have wildlife at home as well. And so on these, because I just planted zinnias, bush beans, beets, radishes, and carrots into the cardboard, I don't want these guys to come in and, dig the stuff up. I've found before that, animals will come up and dig up. I don't know what kind of animal. It could just be birds trying to eat up the seeds. I know we do have neighborhood cats that roam through here. And so I want to make sure that everything is pretty well protected. Again, the chicken wire I kind of just found lying around, and so I started using it. And it does help. I think that once the plants really fully grow in and the animals don't really have any way of getting into the plot or in between where the plants are in the planting areas, like this is fully wide open, they could easily come in and do that. But I think if I keep them moist, the mulch that I put on here, when it dries, it kind of crusts over a little, so it's not easy for them to dig, and so it ends up helping me. So that ends up working out. Even though it does crust a little, when I go through and I water, the water seeps right through. And then the lattice. This is the last thing. The main supports are going to be the T-post, the cages. I know these cages of these tomatoes aren't going to be enough. The grain pins, and then these 2x2s. There's also this lattice that I found over here in the corner. This is a volunteer cherry tomato, and so I went ahead and just put it up. Has the two centers. These two literally go straight down into the soil, and so it should be fine. I kind of wanted a cherry. I don't know what variety this is, and so we'll see how it goes. But overall, as far as supports, again, T-post, the cages, these green poles, which are the ones back there. This one I only put here just so to hold down the chicken wire, and then I do have the bricks, but the bricks is also for the cardboard, so the cardboard doesn't fly away. And I'm going to go ahead and water. I will go ahead and check the carrots under there for that video. And I got to check the berries to make sure they're full. But I mean, that's going to be pretty much the same thing. I will probably go ahead and do a video on the support system I have at home. Those are going to be 1x2s. I do have some of those green poles as well, but a lot of it is going to be just the 1x2s. I made almost like an A-frame out of it. Kind of like this, but just a little different. Although I do love those. Those are very beautiful. And that's the other thing about being in a community garden. You see what your fellow gardeners are doing, and you're like, hey, I never thought of that. Like this one, we were just talking about it the other day. That is a quote-unquote standard support system for a dragon fruit. The only difference is this one's only like 3 feet tall, but 3 or 4 feet tall. The thing that a lot of people do when they create those is they make them 6-7 feet tall. Who in their right mind is going to want to be up that tall? So I do like the idea of just making it smaller, and then you just keep the plants trimmed to that size. So that way it's a lot easier to harvest. But anyway, with the community garden, yeah, you can find stuff in the corners or whatever, but you also get ideas from different people. You talk to other gardeners, and you guys are literally growing in the same space, and so you guys all have the same issues. Hey, what critter ate your stuff? What are you doing? It's like I know she uses those little Dollar Tree baskets for her plants. It covers them up, holds them down. Those you can actually, I didn't include this in that video for the Subpod that I just shot. But you could actually, since Subpods are no longer being made, you can grab like these baskets, and I've seen where like you can just put them inside the beds or inside your planning areas and start filling it in with the same thing you would with a Subpod or a worm bin. And then that way, because it's got holes, they can go around and, you know, do the same thing. I might actually do that. Obviously not those specific ones, but I can go out and pick some up. The thing is, I just planted a bunch of stuff, and I would want it to be, see, that's the thing. So if I put it right in the middle, it's going to be hard for me to reach. So I might put it like on one of the corners or something. I might like tuck it in here. Problem is that once these get too big, that's the issue. I might actually do it like back here too, because in that middle section I don't have anything. Anyway, so that's your support systems for the community garden plot. Yes, you can do these at home, and obviously whatever I say isn't gospel. It's just giving you guys ideas as to what to see. I was watching YouTube last night, and I got another idea for another trellis from another video I was watching where it's almost like a cattle panel, but like not as wide. I don't know what they're called. They're in the rebar section. They're in the construction section. So I might go check out Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace or some locally owned hardware store. Anyway, that's gonna be it on this video. Sorry guys, I know I kind of rambled. We'll see how I edit this down. But just to recap one more time. The T-post in my case, the green poles, the 2x2s that are cemented into the 3-gallon pots with just Quikrete, and a lattice I found. Oh, and the tomato cages. These are bigger, heavier duty, rather than the little cheap ones that really are only good for like peppers. I'm trying to find them. I'm trying to find like those little cheap ones, but nobody here has any. You guys know what I'm talking about, like the really cheap ones. It's like this, but just the smaller, cheaper version of them. Those aren't good for tomatoes at all. Those might be good for peppers, or if you want to do a determinate tomato. Anyway, I go rambling. So that's it on this video. Hit the bell notification, hit the subscribe button. Questions, comments, concerns, please drop them in the comment section below. Again, like I always say, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want me to shoot a video on or explain to you how I do it, please leave that down there. Let me know and we'll go from there. Peace.